This here is definitely my new favorite PC tool or accessory. This here is a rechargeable ear duster that we can recharge with a USB-C. I find this really useful because I tend to like to have my things nice and clean, and I also have like a mining rig with a total of 15 GPUs. I think this is my apartment here, so I don't have all of them in here because that would just be too warm and such, but I have a few different computers here and all of them are fairly dust free because I use this a lot. So with this one, when you see dust you can just spray it away. It's not like with the ear cans that you want to try to save because they somewhat cost you a lot of money for what you can use them on. And also with attachments like this, they come useful for dusting off other things as well. It's very simple. You just hold in the top button to start it. There is like an impeller, very similar to a turbo inside the car, that will just spin around and then shoot air out on the front. So hold it in and then you can click once to change into like a turbo mode. Once, and then click there. And of course you need to wait a few seconds for this to spin up. It takes a fair bit of time, but when it's spun up you have a lot of power. Then you also have a light on the underside, which is not really bright, but it can be useful when it's in a dark environment and you can see what you are doing. So this here is much thicker compared to a regular like ear canister one, but I still think we got somewhat near the same performance, and since we don't have to like save on the can, this is much more effective because you can just use your time and clean even more evenly. So I think this is very useful. So when you look at this online, they maybe all seem to be the same. I'm not sure, but I would guess they are not made all in the same factory because I would tend to think these are fairly popular. So there might be quality differences between the different ones, and also the prices therefore also can differ. I were to guess, if you buy this in big bulk, you can maybe choose if you want a higher quality battery and such. That will of course cost the manufacturer more to produce and therefore also cost you more to buy. And also maybe there's differences to like the impeller and the bearing and the overall logic board inside here and such. So that is maybe why some of them are more expensive, even though in some cases there's probably just the seller pocketing the difference. It's just impossible to tell before you buy the two and compare them. But overall, most of them will probably work just fine. We can also take the ear duster apart. I'm no expert, but I maybe can give a few pointers when it comes to quality. It's very easy to take apart, just a few screws and remove the bottom cap, and you can open it and you can easily put it back together without breaking it. In the bottom here we have this foam piece with double-sided tape where the battery is sitting, a logic board in the middle. Then we have a SMD diode on the top here, LED, that seems to be out of high quality, but since it's mounted fairly far back, it doesn't seem to get all of the output actually out of the housing, even though they put like a TER a reflector on there, but that doesn't seem to be out of the best design either. The motor which is driving this impeller seems to be out of high quality. I would guess there's some bearing in here, and since it's running at high RPM, I would guess that is a good thing, so we don't develop too much heat. The impeller blades here are out of plastic, but they are like some kind of glass fiber plastic blend because they are really hard and also fairly sharp, but they seem to be out of high quality. And I guess these kind of motors and maybe also the impeller is also used in like handheld vacuums or like robot vacuums, so they have like used something off the shelf in a different product, which maybe also make these produce in a higher number and therefore also making for better quality. To me it just looks like a electric turbo, what you would like find in your car, but then driven by exhaust, but here it's driven by the battery. These kind of SMD LED diodes often have a fairly high output compared to their size. I guess the one they have used here is a little bit of a cheaper Chinese produced version, because we have a little bit of a nasty blue light to it, but I would guess it's where it's mounted and the LED lens in front of it, which is more the problem of it not being very bright. Here we have the logic board. I don't really know too much when it comes to the design of these. My only complaint is that I don't like that you have to long press the top button for it to activate, and also when it comes to the light, you always have to manually turn it off. There's no like timer in here for it to like turn itself off 30 seconds if you haven't used it or something like that. So here we have the batteries, 3 18650 lithium batteries that we kind of find in every type of electronics, from electric cars to your like